We're getting right to work here on Grandpa's S-10. We're going to be LS swapping this thing. For those of you who don't follow the channel, this is my grandfather's truck he gave to me. This is the Mopar Garage. We normally don't work on Chevrolets, but Grandpa gave me a Chevrolet, and what do you do with a Chevrolet S-10? Well, you LS swap it. So we got the air box and the intake temp sensor unplugged, MAF unplugged, and we got the intake off of here. Got the battery removed. We're just going to kind of go through and start unplugging everything and start with that. Start getting everything unplugged. I'm still trying to decide if I'm going to pull the fenders off, you know, with the grill off, headlights off, bumper off, all that, and open up the whole front of the truck. On the fence about that. You guys comment down below if that's worth doing when we're doing an LS swap here. And we're just going to keep digging in here. Got all the coolant drained out of it. I'm going to pull the battery box out now. Might as well get that out of the way. Case. Might get a bigger ratchet for this guy. There it is. Yeah, I think I'm just, obviously this is my first experience with an S10 at all. So I'm just kind of winging it here, but I'm thinking get everything unplugged, and then I'm gonna probably after that maybe go under, drain the transmission oil, pull the drive shaft, and then, like I said, I might disassemble the front here. You guys, we'll kind of see where we end up there. I don't know if that's going to be more work than it's worth, or if it's going to be awesome to have the whole front end apart so that we can have all kinds of room for activities. Hardest thing with it, digging into a new project like this, where you're going to be engine swapping it, is what do you keep and what do you throw away, right? Like, are we going to use that battery placement once the LS is in here? I would say probably not, but maybe, right? So I think I'm going to actually keep this battery tray just in case. I'll throw the bolts back to where they came out of, and then we'll throw that in the bed of the truck and hang on to her, I think. Kind of labeling everything as I go along here because I'm OCD like that, and I'm already bleeding to death. You know, just kind of labeling what all the sensors went to that I've unplugged. So got the alternator unhooked. I think next thing we'll do is we'll pull this serpentine belt off, and then we could start maybe removing a couple accessories as we kind of work our way back. I do need to look up what a couple of these sensors are. This here's got to be the MAP sensor. This has got to be the throttle position sensor. This has got to be the idle air control. Not sure what this is. Maybe some kind of oil pressure sensor. But again, these are all brand new to me, so I'm going to have to actually look up a couple of these sensors. This is the first Chevrolet I've really ever dug into. We're Mopar people here, so. Pulling the alternator now, and it's another one of these weird deals, like, do I keep it? Will this fit on an LS? I don't know. I have no idea. I think I'm going to keep it just in case. I would, well, she's making some noise. Yeah, you know what? I think she's toast. But the way Chevy is, as cool as Chevy is about everything fitting everything, I bet you this would fit in LS. Comment down below if you know. Every idler pulley on this thing is toast. The tensioner was toast. Alternator bearing was toast. This tensioner is toast, or this idler is toast. All right, I got updates. We got everything on the top of the engine unplugged, all the ignition stuff, fuel stuff, throttle body stuff, sensors, throttle position sensor, IAC, all that good stuff. Figured out that this is actually a EGR system here, so that's also unplugged. I got everything labeled. Got the evap unplugged. Now I'm getting these heater hoses out of the way here. Let's get these out of here. Okay. Well, here I am, day 2, working on Grandpa's truck. Man, this thing is clean under here. Come take a look at this. Get a load of this. You want to talk about clean? This truck was clearly, well, I know for a fact it was Southern its whole life because it was my grandpa's truck, but man, is it clean. That's pretty awesome. All right, objective. Disconnect the trans linkage, pull the plugs, dump the fluid, disconnect O2 sensors, probably pull drive shaft. I think we got all of our plugs disconnected. We've got our shifter linkage disconnected. I may or may not regret this. I don't think so because I think this comes with my new harness, but I did cut the 2 plugs that go to the shift servo deal here because those plugs were not coming. I mean, I was trying everything and it started threatening to crack this servo here, and I want to sell this transmission. So, cut these guys. Maybe I'll regret it. Maybe I'll have to get a new plug for them. Yeah. We'll find out. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to reuse that. I doubt it. So now let's spill 31 gallons of transmission oil on the ground and drain this pan. And then I'll be curious to see what the life of the clutches looks like. Going to pull the pan and see how much clutch material's in there. It actually looks like it was a really healthy transmission. We got some clutch material on the magnet here, but nothing crazy by any means. Thing still has a lot of life left in it, actually. As long as it's not got 500 horsepower on the other side of it now. Here's the other side. I mean, really still looks beautiful. I'll feel really good selling that transmission to somebody. Anyone needs a 4L60, hit me up. It is just so dumb that transmissions and rear ends don't have drain plugs. And we just accept it. What is that about? We're just always like, hey, just for 100 and something years of automotive history, we've decided that transmission and rear ends are not going to have drain plugs. We're just, yeah, that's what we're doing. We're just not drain plugging those. I don't understand. But here we are, just accepting it. Someday, I'll have a lift, and it's gonna be glorious. I got big plans to build a big, beautiful shop one day. And it is absolutely gonna have a lift. All right, I got updates. I have not been filming very much under here because it is not great working under here. Got the drive shaft pulled it from the rear end, pulled it from the center bearing. Obviously, you saw transmission. We set the pan back on there. There's no gasket. Just put it back on. Found a couple more plugs to pull on the transmission. Now we're working on engine mount bolts. I got the driver's side out. It's a little easier to get to. Passenger side engine mount bolt. We've got to pull the starter to get to it. So driver's side engine mount right there. Got that bolt out. It's kind of a bear. I had to develop this guy, super long extension with a universal with a 11/16, and I was able to sneak it up in there. But this side, in order to get to it, we're gonna have to pull this starter. I think it's just these 2 bolts, this guy and this guy. In order to get the wires off the starter, I think you have to pull the inner fender out of the wheel well on the passenger side. But I'm gonna see if I can sneak this starter out of the way enough to get to our objective here, which is, our objective is a bolt right behind the starter right there. So if we get this starter out of the way, should be able to get the same setup on it with this long extension and universal joint that we use for the other side. Sorry about the bad film quality. It is not great working under here. So I'm gonna pull these two bolts, see if I can sneak that starter out of the way enough. Not gonna pull the wires off the starter yet because I don't think I can get to them. I'll have to lift the other side of the truck off, get that wheel off, and get to those wires. It's been a couple days because I had to pick up these Duratec Crawfoots because there's a bolt on the starter that is just behind the control arm mount, and you just cannot get to that sucker by any traditional means. I've tried everything I can think of. Socket with a universal on it, a wrench, a few different kinds of wrenches actually, and there is just no getting through to it. So one of these bad Larrys, I might need a longer extension on it actually, but we're going to I needed these anyway. There'd been several situations where I'm like, man, I gotta have some of them Crawfords, and I've never had them, so now I do. I'm gonna get the wires off of the starter before I get that last bolt out. Look at the abundance of room in here to get these wires off. I mean, unreal. 2 down, 1 to go, and then we'll get back underneath and drop the starter the rest of the way. All right. We got our crow's foot set up here. We're gonna try to give this baby a shot. I think it's tight. Let's try it this way. Oh my. It should not be that tight. It's borderline slipping off the nut or the bolt. This is probably very much not recommended here. Who put this thing on? Dang it. I want to meet the designer of this truck. Who thought to put this control arm mount right here? You know what? Plan X here. So there's our starter. There's our motor mount right there. I can just get it through the fender. Why did I not think of this much earlier? Here I am trying to pull the starter down there. I can just get a wrench on it up here, I think. Let's do that. That'll be easier. All right, we got our 11/16 wrench on this side. As that turns, that's gonna just rest against this control arm here, and it's gonna hold itself. You get used to these things working in the garage alone every day of your life. And so now, we can get under the front of the truck here and just start twisting this baby off. Oh, it's wearing me out. Whew. Yes. So now, just got to pull this transmission cross membrane, cut the exhaust, And I think we're done underneath the truck. Man, say what you want about S10s. They've got a sturdy transmission crossmember. There was 417 bolts on that side, an exhaust hanger. Unreal. Okay. Oh, jeez. Another exhaust hanger. Oh. Okay. Down you go. Whew. Man, if you have an S10, your transmission's not going anywhere. I mean, it is well mounted. FYI on that deal. Success. All right, now we're gonna cut this exhaust. Okay. All right, so transmission cross members out, motor mount bolts are out, exhaust is cut, transmission's drained, drive shaft is out, everything's unplugged. I think I'm done underneath this truck. So that's good. I like these center caps. Don't love how they're held on. How many Chevrolets you see are missing these little center cap holder honors? Every one. I know this truck's missing several. But it's actually a pretty good looking wheel. Come take a look. I want your opinion on something. Do you think we keep these wheels with some nice fat white letter tires, or should we upgrade the wheels? I've been thinking about keeping them because I want it to always look like Grandpa's truck. But you guys let me know in the comments if you like these. I think Chevy always did a good job with their stock wheels in the 90s and early 2000s. All right, truck's back on the ground. Let's concentrate on getting this front end cleared out. I got a pull plate coming, should be here tomorrow. So I can pull the throttle body and then pop the pull plate on. We should be able to yank this MOT out of here. So let's pull this fan off first and then go from there. These fan pullers are like those tools that you use like twice a year, but when you do use them, you are so glad you have them. Yep. So I'm leaning towards eliminating the AC in this thing. I don't know, you guys will have to comment down below what you think, but I'm thinking eliminating AC, and I'm thinking about putting the battery in the bed too, so that the engine bay is super clean. But speaking of AC, let's see if we can't pull this compressor out of here. Have to make sure the whole system is empty. Nope, she appears to be empty. Yep, she is totally empty. Now, based on everything that I'm reading, these stock radiators do a great job keeping an LS cool. So we are keeping this radiator, and what most of the guys are doing are running electronic fans off a Dodge Intrepid, interestingly enough. And that is what they're doing to keep these things cool. So we're keeping this radiator, so I got to make sure to keep this thing in good shape as we rip it off of here. This radiator is in great shape. Excellent. So I'm leaning even more towards no AC now, because from what I've read, if you take out the condenser coil for the AC and trim around the edges here, that radiator can scoot forward into where the condenser is now, and that allows you enough room to fit that LS in. So I'm thinking we're gonna go no AC, unless something strikes me here in the next couple months, but I'm definitely leaning no AC at this time. So trying to decide now. I got a couple things: fuel lines, power steering lines. I got to disconnect both of those. Trying to decide if this engine will sneak out of here without pulling this core support out. It would be kind of nice. Well, I don't think I have the ceiling height to lift it that high. Anyway, I'd have to roll the truck outside, which is not the end of the world, but I'm gonna look into, start peeking around, see how much work it would be to pull core support, grill, headlights, because it would be nice just to have this whole front end here accessible. So let's see. We're getting pretty close here. Fuel lines are disconnected. Power steering lines are disconnected. Throttle body's off. As I'm looking at the design of this plastic intake, I don't think that my pull plate that I have will work to pull this engine. So gonna have to get creative, maybe hook a chain across it or something like that. I've still got to get these accessory drive mounts off of here, get the hood off, and then once that's done, this thing is pretty much ready to pull. I think it's loose in pretty much every way. There's going to be a couple harnesses that are going to snag on me, I'm sure, as it tries to come out, but that's pretty typical with pulling any engine. This video is kind of getting to the length that I like my videos to end at, and I'm done for the day because I'm up against some time constraints again. But we've made great progress on Grandpa's truck. Next step is to pull this engine out and then get it listed on Marketplace for sale. Anyone needs a 4.3, comment down below. I don't know, or a 4L60. Runs great, leaks a bunch of oil. But in any case, appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you on the next one.